Hello, welcome to Sunfire Designs. Today I'm going to be making a web pour, and I'm going to be making it in this new mold that I made. It is, I'm going to be calling it my wavy edge mold because the edges are wavy and they kind of remind me of flower petals, which is kind of what I was going for when I made it. It's obviously not even and perfect, but it's okay. It kind of gives it more character that way when it's not. I made it using the borax crystals, so I'm still not sure exactly how well those are going to come out, but we're going to find out. It's also a smaller mold. It only takes about 150 mils, 160 mils of resin. So if it does work, it's going to use a lot less resin than some of the other molds I have. But I'm hoping that it'll give it kind of an interesting pattern with the petals around here, with the waves. So without further ado, here we go. I made a video about it, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna post it or not, but I did add a layer of silicone to the bottom just to make sure everything was nice and smooth on the bottom and didn't have any bubbles around the edges. So in case that video does come up, that was one thing I don't think I added into it. So, all right, here we go. So I mixed up 150 mils of Art Pro resin. I have 25 mils of clear. And what I did is I took my recipe and I just used proportions. I'm doing the same proportions, just different amounts because the amount is less, obviously. So this one comes out, I think my math said it was 26 mils, and I just rounded to 25 because I'm not gonna worry about 1 mil. So there is 25 mils there. I have, I'm not using black, I'm using indigo this time. And it's 25 mils of indigo. The indigo is from Dollar Rowney. And it's pretty dark, but it's not, opaque or anything. My white is also 25 mils. And it's not super opaque either, but it's opaque enough. And I just use one like medium-ish drop of the ocean white. I just think that if I added more white, it would be too much. But we'll see. This right here, this is my mica powder. What I did is I used two. I used chameleon powder from Let's Resin in grape. And I used this little spoon here. I used 1 spoon of the grape, and then I used 1 spoon of purple pearlescent pigment from Estoyo. So it's a mixture of the two. The grape does not end up being super opaque. I mean, this isn't opaque overall, but just to give it a little more opacity, I did add this purple, and it just gives it a little more oomph. And then for my push, it's 60 mils of push, and I just put 1 drop of Liquitex Quinacridone Magenta in there. All right, so that is it. And now we start. I really hope this comes out. I'm excited. This mold has been in my brain for, months. I'd say probably, I don't know, since I made my first mold, however long ago that was. But I just, I had other ones I wanted to make first. So, all right. So because there's an even amount of these, I'm just going to go straight across using those as my guide. So there's that one. And this is the very first time that I'm using this mold. Okay, so most of that. Now my white. You know the drill if you've watched my videos, so you know how this goes. Drop. Almost done. Drop, come on. I think this is going to give a really interesting pattern. All right, so the next part is the white in between. So these will be shorter because it's on the inside of those little petals. So it's probably this part that's going to be the most different because it's not like this in my regular mold. It's not like this at all. But we shall see. I didn't actually plan on this mold being smaller. Usually what happens is I end up making my molds much bigger. I'll like draw a circle on there and it'll end up being a lot bigger, which is why my molds have ended up being, you know, like 200 mils or more. So, but for some reason, I was really good about not letting it spread out this time. So it ended up being not as big as it normally would be. Okay, just adding my next layer of blue. Come on, drop, drop, drop. You're not gonna drop. I hate it when it does that. Okay. There we go. All right, so now it's time to go in with my mica powder with a swirl. Now this is a deeper mold, so we will see what the deeper mold does. Just kind of going into each of those petals a little bit and then coming back in and doing the circles. Oh, I just had an idea. I just had an idea. I will save it and use it for another pour. All right. That way I can kind of flesh it out in my brain and make sure that I'm on to something and not just being crazy. All right, so now I'm going to pour this in here. I am just going to use for my center, I am just going to use regular black, I think. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this blue crushed glass. It's like a mirrored kind of glass. It's really pretty. So I'm going to use that in the center because it'll go with the indigo, I think. Okay, so push this in, not fast, not slow, just as is. Okay, so it takes almost 150. I don't want to overfill it because I did add that layer on the bottom. It's going to take a little bit less than what my original took. Put those stones in the center, push those in, and there we go. We'll see what it looks like. I'm really curious to see how it turns out. I don't know. I'm fingers crossed. I hope it comes out really cool. But anyway, all right. Well, I'm not even going to do a time lapse because everything's moving in really fast already. So I'm not worried about that. It's moving in right now as I'm even speaking. So I'm going to turn it off and I will come back tomorrow when it's time to unmold, and fingers crossed we get something amazing out of it. Okay? I will see you tomorrow. Okay, I've been antsy about this one all night. I can't wait to see how it happens, how it happened to work, what the little waves did to the pattern. Ready? That came out so cool. It made the pattern kind of dip like that. Oh, so cool. Oh, that's really gorgeous. Really beautiful. That purple just came out so nicely. I love it. I love it. Of course, taking a picture of the sun is going to be a little bit better, so I will have one of those pictures on here. But I think it came out great, and I used less resin. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.